Shows like this are rare. They don't come by often, and with it on its last season while wrapping itself up, there really is no better time to watch this show. So let me tell you why you should watch Attack on Titan. This is one of the first anime I actually ever watched, and boy was a good one to start with. This show is amazing. Anyone who watched this show will copy those same words to you as well. I've gotten so many people into anime with this show, but it's not about anime or anything else like that. It's about the sheer quality of this story. So, you know what? I guess that's a good place to start. The story for the show is quite possibly one of the best I have ever been given the opportunity of experiencing. Now, I want to give you a rundown and feel for the world, and obviously, no spoilers, and also try to keep the comment section free from them as well. Now, the show follows our main character, Eren Yeager, and his two childhood friends, Armin and Mikasa. We are thrown into this story with quite literally one of the best first episodes I have ever seen. The sheer shock factor and build-up may be one of the first things to get you hooked, but if you're not, that's okay because the show didn't really get me until around episode 6 anyway. But we're thrown into this post-apocalyptic world where humanity has been forced to take refuge behind these massive walls. But one day, this all changes. This event acts as the catalyst for the entire series and sets the whole show into motion. From here, we see Eren and his friends join the military in hopes of learning what is beyond the walls and to slaughter those that took everything from him. A lot of this show is shrouded in mystery and leaves you yourself to put the pieces together. And trust me, the pieces are there. This was the first show I ever rewatched, and after watching it a second time, there are so many hidden details that are only revealed after you know what will happen. You will miss a lot, and the show will allude to a great amount of things that you will most likely miss. But looking back, it's crazy to see the intricacy of this story. It is super sound and well made, and honestly, there are no plot holes. That is so rare. It is really a perfectly made story. It lays down tiny pieces of information and then pulls incredible plot twists. It's hard. I mean, incredibly hard to do a plot twist well, but Attack on Titan pulls them off every single time. I'm talking world-shattering, point-of-view breaking plot twists. The second you start to get comfortable, the second you start to think you're figuring the story out, it will throw you for a loop once more. I mean, it has one of the most famous and best plot twists I've ever seen in any show, and these twists lead to some great pacing as well. There's not a single bad episode here. Every episode does something to service the plot and story in one way or another. I found myself never bored while watching it. Even my second time through, I thought I was able to breeze through these episodes, even after knowing what would happen. And the ideas behind this show are so freaking good, dude. It's written in a way where the world seems very small at first. We are confined within these walls and we only see through the lenses of our characters. But as the story progresses and we learn more information about the world, our lens slowly grows wider, and even in some parts rapidly. The scope of this world seemed to ever expand until it was this large and vast living entity. By the end, it felt like a real world, and this world is populated by differing views, ethics, and morals. Everything about this show is nuanced and really, it's all about perspective. This show will have you questioning a lot of things and will shake the foundation that itself has laid. This is by no means a shallow show. It treats you like a competent viewer and allows you to cast your opinion on the subject matter. And the show is a little gory, but like in a tasteful way. It's not overly gory just for the sake of it like some shows can be, but it will show it just a little bit, so be aware of that. Now, let's shift focus over to the characters. The characters in this show are really good. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are great and get a lot of development and screen time, but the supporting cast is really good too. And they actually got better the second time watching. The main side characters all get a lot of development, and even super minor characters that were barely established can come back every once in a while when needed, which I think is really neat. Just goes back to that whole living world type of feeling. And throughout the series, a lot of the characters will harbor their own personal goals and motives. objectives, and sometimes these goals clash with others, so it's always interesting to see how those ordeals pan out, and their morals always lead to interesting discussions and can even shape how you view the story as a whole. Like I said before, perspective. Honestly, the cast is great and really populates the story with living, breathing characters. Now, let's move over to the animation. The animation is actually really good and solid, and besides the few CGI moments, it's not that bad. And honestly, even the CGI moments were bearable. Season 4 uses a lot of CGI, and the art style sort of changed since the anime studios switched. And while I do prefer the old style, it still looks good. And since we are on the topic of the animation, let's turn over and talk about the soundtrack. I don't know if you've seen the show or my previous videos, but I've used some of the soundtrack in them, and for good reason. The music for this show is really good. It completely, and I mean completely, elevates scenes. Certain songs just evoke certain feelings, and just recently a song used in season 1 came back up in season 4, and it was just so hype. I mean, seriously, there are a few bangers on this soundtrack. But there's a reason why this show is so popular. It's because it's simply quality. There are few shows that can even compare to this level of effort and detail. It's the second show I've ever seen that I can confidently call a masterpiece. That's a big word for me, and it holds a lot of value. I've only used it on one other show, and that's because I think this is truly perfect. From start to finish, I can't really find any flaws. The main story at play here is fantastic, and it's not too late to hop on the hype train and finish this show with the rest of us, because I know for a fact that the finale will be an event to see. So don't miss out and go experience this show for yourself. Trust me, you will not regret it.